Have you seen the twin lamps? They light the way to freedom. One of the neat things about Vanilla Morrowind is that the game had a lot of informal factions. The Twin Lamps, an abolitionist movement that helped rescue slaves, particularly Argonians and Khajiit in Morrowind, wasn't a real faction per se. You can join after proving yourself by freeing a number of slaves, but in the vanilla game, there were no ranks, no guild halls, no central quest givers. You could only just, stumble upon quests randomly. Maybe hear about some related quests for the Twin Lamps here or there, maybe get a handful from an occasional Twin Lamps member, but it was very much just an informal, secretive organization, which in the context of Morrowind's environment just makes a bit of sense. And today's More of the Day just mostly stays true to that secret development of the Twin Lamps, merely expanding the faction with more quests, more locations to visit, fairly seamless integration into the game's existing lore, and just tying in with a number of the game's existing quests, and giving you the possibility to play a greater role in the abolitionist movement, where you can work towards the ultimate goal of abolishing slavery in Vvardenfell. For today's More of the Day is Oh Brother Juniper's Twin Lamps by Brother Juniper and Lucival. One of the largest quest mods released for the 2022 May Modathon competition, this mod starts out, more or less, the same way as the vanilla game, with being told about the Twin Lamps after you've rescued about 20 slaves. Once you learn of the Twin Lamps, you can make your way to the Stendarr's Rest Inn, just outside of the Foreign Quarter Canton in Vivec. From first appearances, it may seem like a normal tavern, but it is, in fact, a hotbed for the Twin Lamps, and it is here that you'll be directed to just a number of different quests involving the Twin Lamps. These tasks that you'll do for the Twin Lamps will vary just quite a bit at first, from simply moving abolitionist literature and encouraging bookshops to sell it, to integrating just various vanilla quests, like rescuing Rabina, the Khajiit being used as a drug mule in Hala Ode, to more action-oriented quests, rescuing members of the Twin Lamps, defeating bounty hunters, recruiting new members, and even eventually launching slave rebellions, just, assuming you go for that path. For Brother Juniper's Twin Lamps is actually a multi-path quest mod, with branching quest lines that could just dramatically affect the outcome for the Twin Lamps. While the introductory quests are all linear, you'll eventually be asked to help decide which strategy the Twin Lamps will use, just to accomplish their main goal of complete abolition, ending the practice of slavery on Vvardenfell. Different members of the Twin Lamps will have different ideas about which direction to go in, and the basic choices are this. The first option is to pursue change within the systems of power as they currently exist, seeking to abolish slavery through direct appeal to the great houses. The second option is to pursue change through the common people, changing hearts and minds and building popular support for the cause, in order to force the hands of those in power to abolish slavery. Or, the third option is to pursue change through more direct, violent means, overthrowing the apparatus of oppression directly through rebellion, arming the slaves, and killing the slavers. But each is a valid strategy, though the results you'll get will vary widely, and the consequences could be rather severe for both the Twin Lamps and the balance of power in Vvardenfell. Depending on which strategy you choose, you may find yourself appealing directly to the great houses to outlaw slavery, which will obviously face a bit of pushback if there's no real strong incentive to do so. Or you may find yourself going to various plantations and mines and launching rebellions, which may serve to free some slaves directly, but which could ultimately just turn public opinion against the cause due to the sheer level of violence. Or you can curry favor with Morrowind's other, smaller factions, the various labourer, farmer, and craft guilds, and build support for the abolition movement that way, built upon the lower classes who not only don't benefit from slavery, but are actively harmed by it. The end result, should you fall through this questline to the end, is the outlawing of slavery on Vvardenfell. At least, for the most part. Because, try as you might, you are never going to convince the Telvanni to get on board. All in all though, there's some, I think roughly 20 quests added in here, taking you to all sorts of new locations, as well as integrating just a lot of Morrowind's vanilla content. And as much as we're showing off here, this is only a fraction of the playable content in Brother Juniper's Twin Lamps. And to be clear, Oh Brother Juniper's Twin Lamps is actually a modernization of the original 2004 classic by Brother Juniper, one of the first Twin Lamps faction mods released from Morrowind. What this specific 2022 modernization does is update the new locations included here with assets from old data, as well as fix up a bunch of the style mixing issues and generally just bring the mod in line with the quality we expect in the modern age of Morrowind modding. Brother Juniper's Twin Lamps was one of the great quest mods of Morrowind's first golden age, and now, with a new obified version, there's all the more reason to give it a play, nearly 20 years after it was first released, especially, if you're a fan of the Twin Lamps. But anyway, that's it for more of the day, so, as always, I've been your host, Dark Elf Guy. Thanks for watching, stay safe, stay healthy, happy modding, and I'll see you all next time.